everybody, it's Fridays 18 here. I'm going to be showing you guys the newest mod today. I'm back at it with the mod developing, and I think this round I'm doing Avatar. Avatar The Last Airbender to be specific. It's a great show. I've been watching it again, and I'm absolutely adoring it, so I thought it deserves a mod. At least an updated one. I know there's a great one, but this is going to be a new one for newer versions for people who aren't interested in playing older versions. So yeah, I'm going to get right into it. The way this video will be formatted is first I'm going to show you guys all I have right now. This is my first day of working on it. I just wanted to give you guys a little, introduction, stir up some hype. I'm going to show you guys airbending and what that entails. I'm going to show you guys how the systems are going to be working. I'm going to give you guys some insight, and then I will be showing you guys my notes for my plans for this. So let's get right into it. Before we do anything, I do want to say the way this all is going to work, the mod for fighting and stuff, and bending specifically, is each bending is going to have 4 moves: first, second, third, and ultimate, but they're also all going to have a passive. That's just going to help when I'm explaining stuff to explain that right away. So first off, we're going to show the passive for air. Air's passive is to get these 2 things: a glider and a bison whistle. Now I'm going to be right back explaining to you exactly what that does. Alright guys, back, sorry about that. So explain what this does is the glider, you can see, it kind of acts like a sword. It has the amount of damage as a netherite sword, but it has the speed as double a netherite sword. So very, 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 very good. But what's the point of a glider if you can't glide? So right click it, you got a whole new thing. This does not act like a weapon in any way until you right click it and turn it back into the glider. But this glider version, it just simply gives you fall resistance and speed. Now, the reason it's useful and the way it works is if this isn't just like I'll explain it. It's not like if you're above a certain level, it's if there's air below you. So there's not air below me now, so it's not doing anything. But if we were to go over here and we jump up, there's air below us, so we're gonna get the effect. Also, anyone curious, I have prepared for the future of this mod, and if you have an elytra on and you are holding this in your offhand or your hand, it's not gonna affect you. So the effects won't work. That way you're not getting weird glitchiness, having an elytra with slow falling and all that stuff. Next we got the bison whistle. It looks like this. And what it does is the idea is you kind of call your bison, you say yip yip, and after a little bit, flap in the air. It's really helpful because even though it doesn't negate your fall damage, you have the glider. So it's really helpful for getting around, mobility, traveling the map that you might be on, and also just generally getting away from certain situations. So that's that. Next, we are going to get into the actual bending style of air. So first, we have to activate our battle mode, or as I'm going to change it to later, bending mode. Basically, when this is turned on, you're able to use your moves. The reason I segmented it into its own little mode is because I felt like it was just fair. I feel like this way, you're kind of able to tell when someone's attacking you versus when they're trying to be peaceful, because obviously if someone runs at you with their bending mode activated, they don't have good intentions. So that way it's just a bit nicer. Plus it looks a lot cooler. These particles aren't going to last, by the way. These are just, this is my first day work on the project, first couple hours even. So it's not fully all the way through. Now I'm going to show you guys the first move, which is air ball. You get on a little ball and you just go really fast for a little while. Yeah. That's about it. It's not too exciting, but it's great for mobility, which, as I kind of keep pointing out with the way this bending style is structured, it's 3 of the moves, both the passive moves and this move, are all strictly for mobility, because I feel like air is a very passive way of doing stuff, so I feel like it's only fair that works like that way. Next, we got this, which is the air push. Each different move, by the way, is going to have to be gained through meditation, and I'll explain meditation in a second. But when you see them taking different energy levels up here, which this energy bar is obviously not good, but I'll be changing it soon. It's just, first day. Takes 30, the other one took 10. This move doesn't take any damage. As you can see, it goes very, very fast. So if you're looking at something, chances are you're probably going to push it. But yeah, that's the way that works. Now for the V move, or the third move, it takes 50 energy, and for about 5 seconds you have an ability called reflection. Basically any damage that is taken to you gets reflected to the other person who attacked you. So if they do 10 damage to you, you do 10 damage to them. You still take the damage, but you're reflecting it back. And the reason I picked this for air, even though it's never really explicitly shown in the show, is because I want every single class to feel specific, and I think I'm going to be able to do a good job showing you guys that in my notes and my plans. But I don't know, I wanted air to be very versatile and very peaceful. So reflecting damage, pushing enemies, moving away. This is not a high damage class. High damage classes are going to be things like rock and fire. But air really shouldn't be a high damage class because it's not really shown like that. It's air. It's not a solid object kind of thing, you know? That said, we can't leave air users defenseless. I mean, who would I be as a developer if I just, let all my little air fanboys out there get completely destroyed? Which is why the ultimate, which costs 100 energy, you charge up, and it's called air condensation, and huge explosion with a giant radius you take no damage from. That's air. It's pretty good. Lastly, what I have to show that's in the mod currently is this. Turn on your avatar mode, and this is what you get. Now listen, the way avatar stuff is going to work in this game is you can either be born an avatar with a 1 in 10 chance, or you can do a quest line to become an avatar. Either way, when you become an avatar, you have the avatar quest line, which the naturally born avatars are going to have too, which will kind of be a bit grueling. You're going to have to do a lot of work, but it'll pay off. The main things are just going to be complete all the fighting styles, or complete all the bending styles, master them all, and you'll be all good. Now, as for the actual avatar mode itself, of course, this is the bending mode. It's just got different particles, and basically the bending mode's been replaced with the avatar mode, which has cooler particles and all that stuff, but also all these effects. A lot of good effects in here, but you see Hunger 3. The reason for this is it's a vanilla, natural way of making it so that people can't always just stay in their avatar mode. I feel like it would be extremely unfair if someone can just, once they get avatar mode, they're able to just stay in it 24/7. I feel like that's kind of messed up, and I want to make this game as balanced as possible. I think Hunger is a great way to make this a vanilla way of losing your energy. So that explains that. Now, I did say to explain meditating. It's not in the game yet, but the way it's going to work is when you meditate, you're going to have certain challenges, either that's killing or whatever. And while you're meditating, you're going to increase your energy max right here, the maximum energy you can store, while also being able to increase your mastery of your skills, like air and other things. So yeah, I'm going to leave you guys here for just a second, and I'm going to pull up my notepad where I can explain to you guys kind of how I plan on focusing this mod. Alright guys, back. Now I'm going to explain to you guys the everything here. So, first off, each ability gets 3 moves and 1 ult and a passive. I already explained that. Meditation and bending system, that's just on the docket. Weapons, I'm restarting Avatar right now to try to get, this is what I do for all my mods. For the Naruto mod, it was just like this. But you see, you got the boomerang, the sword, the ability to craft special swords that are metal like Sokka. These are just, as I'm seeing the show, I'm going to keep adding to this list. There's some other stuff. So, Momo, I'm going to make this a capturable animal, and when you get it, you can right click it every X amount of time to get a random amount of apples. So I just thought it'd be kind of funny. Make a book that goes over all the info. That's kind of just going to go over everything you see here, but in a nice book format, and I want all new players to get that or have a way to craft it, just to explain everything, This goes over air bending, which isn't that interesting because I just showed you guys, but now we're going to water bending. The passive is they can't drown, but they need a water pouch or water bucket to use their moves, just in their inventory. I'm not saying like in their hand or anything, but just in their inventory, either have a water bucket or a water pouch, which will be a custom item. Anyways, next we have their moves. So they'll be able to heal. Obviously, this will be able to heal themselves and heal others. Water grab. I thought this was kind of a cool move. They'll be able to pull towards them, and water slice. They'll shoot a projectile. It does a lot of knockback, and also I want to make a bleed effect. That's also going to be in here. Also Tsunami of Ice, basically a giant AoE freeze move. Now I told you guys air is very much so about peacefulness and moving away from enemies, not going towards them. Water is a bit weird. I want water to be more of a supporting role. So you can heal, you can grab, and you can shoot from afar. And you got the Tsunami of Ice, which is giant AoE, obviously. But these moves all together, they allow a player to be able to play solo. But you can also kind of see where grabbing, slicing, healing, and AoE stun moves are going to be very helpful in teams. So That's kind of where I'm going with water bending. For earth bending, the passive is that they get resistance 4 while blind. If you guys don't know how good resistance 4 is, resistance 5 means you take no damage at all. So pretty good. I thought this would be interesting. I think it'll add more personality to the bending style if they have to be blind to get the most out of it. And I plan on making a blindfold that makes them blind permanently. Not permanently, but for a decent little bit. Actually, I don't have that on the list. I'm going to add that right now. Blindfold. And so they get that benefit. As for their abilities, they're very tanky. They're very, like, damage-dealing guys. So you got the rock shot, shoot a rock with knockback and damage, ground smash, or ground data, which basically they touch the ground and they get a large radius of every entity, and they get sent to chat, kind of like the Naruto mod with Yamanaka. Ground smash is a small AoE around them, and rock punch. This is pretty cool. Basically, they charge up and they jump at someone and do a giant AoE of damage, kind of like a little explosion. Yeah, like I said, the Earth is very. So you got supporting, you got peacefulness, and just moving away. So you got kind of the assassin, the healer, and now we're moving on towards the tanky kind of characters. Things like resistance 4, heavy attacks with a lot. This is gonna have a charge up. This is not gonna have a charge up, but it gives it more uniqueness if it also is good for data purposes. So, and then we got firebending. Firebending is gonna be our DPS, our high damage. So they can't be on fire. So that's my dog. If you guys heard that, they can't be on fire. They're unable to use moves in water. I feel like that's kind of a fair trade-off, and also it's canonical. We got their abilities. So fireball, which is going to be a small little projectile. Fire, it's just going to be like a tiny little fireball. Fire rage, this is going to be a massive boost, so they get a lot of strength, a lot of stuff like that. So this is going to be really big for sword users. Fire reduce floor, basically everything in the area is going to take burn damage. And then we got the giant fireball, which is a massive fireball that explodes on impact. I feel like you guys can kind of see where this is the big damage class. Next we got energy bending. Energy bending is going to be the bending style of the avatar, because there is a lot of different bending styles, but I can't fit that all into the first version. I want to push this out to you guys as fast as possible, as soon as I can. It's good quality. So energy bending, basically the passive is going to have a mental peace score. If you kill something as an energy bender, which once again is the avatar bending style, so once you master everything, do the quest line. If you kill something, your mental peace score goes down, and if you meditate more, it goes up. The reason I did this system is because canonically the way energy bending works is that when you use moves, if you're not of the right headspace, you die. So you die if you're not in the right headspace. I imagine your headspace goes down when you're killing people. When you meditate, getting better. That's how it's going to work. And like I said, this is pretty overpowered. I'm going to explain why. Spiritual protection. Player enters a different dimension. So basically what this is going to be like is you're not going to be able to see them. Think like Kamui. Think like portal hopping. Like you're just in a different area, but still in the world. So basically you're going to have like a little blue overlay. You're going to be invisible, have high speed, and not be able to take any damage for a little bit. I feel like this would be pretty interesting for fights, to see someone just disappear and come out of nowhere. Good for maneuverability. Projection. This makes a clone for you. Bending removal. So you charge, dash at a player, and you are able to take their bending style in a little AoE. Now, this is canonical. I'll pull this up for you guys. And if we go over to energy bending, this is kind of spoilers, so I don't really want to look away. If you don't read this section, actually, that's it. But basically, you're able to take over another person. But once again, if one's own energy is impure and therefore bendable, the practitioner will be consequently destroyed. So that's why the whole system, the passive, works. And the big ultimate right here is the Lion Turtle Summon, which is a giant AoE of effects and explosions. The reason I did this is because, they were really big on these lion turtle dudes. Now, to explain more, lion turtles were the creators of Bendinkana, and they gave people elemental powers, but after they found people weren't that cool, stopped doing it. That said, I feel like someone who's achieved the Avatar stage should be allowed to call to them, and so that's how that's going to work. Anyways, I went over, you got the healer, you got the tank, you got the DPS, and you got all this other stuff. What part does energy bending play, you might be asking? This is here to just be a mix of everything. This is your end goal as the player. You want to reach this point. Not because you're not able to use other stuff and not because other stuff is bad, because this is just a very good medium place to be. I mean, the mental peace score is pretty interesting. It keeps you on your toes and it keeps you having a routine. Also, it's going to keep you try to stop killing stuff, which, you know, like I said, I want this to be a genuine Avatar mod that kind of has its, you know, vibe. And in the vibe of Avatar, there's really not much going on as for the, you know, killing and all that. It's not good. It's not highlighted. So it's possible, and that's why firebending and stuff like that, but it's not, you know, shined on. Protection. You got a protection move. You got a clone move. You got a, like, de-escalation move, and you have a DPS move. You have everything, you have every other bending move, basically, in this, or everything that everything else encapsulates. So, once again, that's kind of where I'm going with this whole plan. Is that energy bending is simply a mix of everything, which I feel like fits the whole Avatar concept. As for everything, I think that's all I have to say. You guys have seen all my progress. You guys know exactly where I'm going with this. I'm sorry for being gone for so long, but hopefully I'll be able to make up for it with this mod. I think I got some pretty good ideas. So, yeah, I'll see you guys, and drop your suggestions below. I'm really curious what you guys have to say. I'll see you later.